Welcome to the Gary Sinise Foundation podcast. I'm excited to have Gary's daughters, Sophie and Ella, with us today.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. We're excited.
Good.
Sophie and Ella share the unique experience of growing up in a family dedicated to supporting our nation's defenders. Of course, we can never forget their mom, Moira, Gary's wife, and their brother, Mac. Their experiences as a family and individually attest to the powerful impact of a legacy of service. So, are you ready to dish on your dad?
Yes.
Tell all of his secrets.
Sorry, Dad.
It begins.
You're in for it.
All right, so first of all, what was it like growing up in the Sinise household?
Go for it.
My turn.
Yes.
Goodness, I mean, you know, growing up in Hollywood, I guess you would say, we didn't, our parents did a really good job of trying to shield us from all of the spotlight as much as possible, and keep us as normal as possible. I don't know.
That pretty much sums it up, though, if you put it in
Yeah.
one sentence, because when I went off to college, everyone was like, oh, what's it like in Hollywood? And what's it like being, that's the number one question that we get is, what is it like being his daughter and having
Who
your
do you
dad
hang
be in
out
the
with?
movies?
Oh, yeah.
But that wasn't really our life. We just had a normal upbringing where, Mom, she took us to soccer practice and did all the normal things, and she didn't want to go to all the Hollywood stuff, and it just wasn't what we did. And if we did it, it was abnormal to us.
Yeah, we weren't used to it. We definitely weren't used to, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
So we get a little nervous, so bear with us. But yeah, Dad would go, and his job was literally, that was what our dad did. He would leave, and that was his job. And Mom did a really amazing job holding down the fort and keeping us normal as best as she could. She, yeah.
We did the fun Hollywood things every once in a while.
Yeah.
Which was cool. So we were blessed to be able to experience those types of things. But, if you come into our house, Mom's, making spaghetti with red sauce and sugar bread, and because those were the only things that she knew how to make. She was not a cook, and it was a wonderful, normal childhood. But Dad was gone because that was his job, to travel and make movies, and then eventually when he did all of this, he was busy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And we also had struggles like everybody else. Like we weren't this, perfect, Hollywood family. We definitely, in my dad's book, he talks about, a little bit behind the scenes and what was going on, and our mom struggled with alcohol, and so that was a struggle for us, but they've really done an amazing job keeping us grounded and, keeping us as normal as possible and, working through things. My mom went back to the Catholic Church, which, literally was an amazing blessing for our family and really brought us together in unity. And after that is when we really started to see kind of a shift in our dad and service, and then 9/11 happened. And then things just kind of started to turn in a different direction for us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, we're just normal people going through normal, struggles and dealing with our dad being gone. But our parents really did an amazing job letting us know, why he was gone and what he was doing. which really instilled in us such a compassion and a heart for and an understanding. And we felt a part of the mission as well.
Did you ever notice a shift? Because as your dad, as he says, he went from an unknown actor to a known actor. Did you ever notice a shift then?
We were so, especially me, I was so little, I
Yeah,
think, when that
you were both so
happened,
little,
right?
yeah.
So for me, I always kind of was experiencing Dad as the known actor, I guess. But because then in high school, he started doing CSI,
Right.
and I remember going to my first football game in high school, and he came like straight out of CSI set, and he was wearing the suit with the glasses and all of that. And someone came and was like, "You saw Gary Sinise? He's like over there." And I was like, "Hi, really?" But yeah, I think for me, I always kind of experienced the known Gary. But then when I was super little, I do have small memories of him, No, it was mainly known Gary because I was a baby when Forrest Gump came out or was being filmed. So
I was in kindergarten when the whole Forrest Gump thing started to take place. So we made a move to Malibu, and that's when kind of like he was starting to become like a really known figure.
Yeah.
We just always kind of grew up with, oh, Lieutenant Dan, does he have legs? And we're like, yeah, he's got legs.
yes, he does.
We have some funny stories of people recognizing him, knowing his name.
Yes. Well, mainly knowing him as Lieutenant Dan,
Dan.
pronouncing the last name
Or they'll be like,
wrong.
You're
always
that, you're that guy, right? You're
Gary Neeson?
Gary Neeson?
You're Gary Neeson.
That's it. It's Gary Neeson.
I've heard
Yeah.
Sinise.
Yes, Sinise.
Yeah, Sinise.
Yes.
That's the other one.
We
Yes.
got when there was a lady, we were like on vacation somewhere, and she kept coming up to the table, but she couldn't figure out who he was. And she was like, "You look so familiar. I'll figure it out. And then she came back and she was like, Con Air. That's it. I knew it. It was Con Air. And he was like, he didn't say anything. But that's who our dad is. He's he keeps it very humble.
Yeah.
But our mom is just the most normal,
Yeah.
little small farm town girl. Like the Hollywood scene is very like overwhelming for her, and I think that's obviously been passed down to us.
Yes.
Because it's something that like it's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and it's something a lot of people don't realize, I think, about our family behind the scenes, or we're just so not used to being in the spotlight, because they've done such an amazing job keeping us that way, I think. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, me too.
That's amazing. And so another part of your family life is you guys have a long history of service, and from your mom's side and also your dad's side. What do you remember of that?
Just always, Mom has always shared with us her family, her brother, our Uncle Mac, who we never got the pleasure of meeting. He died when he was 39. And that's who our brother is named after. But he was in the Army, a big guy at West Point. He wrote what is it called? The manual.
The leadership manual.
The leadership manual. So I know that has always been a big influence on our father. Her brother Arthur, who is still alive, he was in Vietnam. I think served 2 tours in Vietnam. Survived a helicopter crash in training.
Was in training.
And walked away. Her twin sister Amy, Army veteran.
When you meet her, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
You can tell she was in the military, and she won't let you forget it either.
Oh, she'll let you. She's very proud.
Yeah,
and she should be.
She should.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Just like you. So.
She went from doing theater with Mom in college, left that, and went into the military. Sorry, Amy, if those details aren't
I love
exactly correct. But she went into
she
college.
Is theatrical.
Yeah, she wanted to do theater, but instead she said this isn't for me and went into the military, like her brothers did.
I did not
so,
know that.
Yeah, that's something super cool about her, but you can still tell she's very theatrical.
Yes.
Yes.
She is the woman veteran military in our family, which is awesome. And yeah, you can tell.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
So our Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack and
Uncle
Gavin.
Jack, who Aunt Amy married. Our Uncle Jack, he passed away in 2014.
A medic.
Uncle Jack, on Dad's side, our dad's Uncle Jack was in World War
B-17, yeah.
B-17 bomber, a navigator.
Yep.
So yeah, just a
Grandpa in the Air Force. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Grandpa.
so many. Yeah.
He was a photographer in the Navy. But yeah, so we've just grew up hearing about this stuff all the time, and the bravery and the sacrifice, and I know that with Dad, there's always a sense of like wishing that he served in that way. Which I think is a huge motivator for him to help those who have served and who are serving.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a part of him that wishes he could have done that as well. But that wasn't his journey.
No, it wasn't.
And then September 11th happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a big,
Big shift.
passionate uproar
Yeah.
in Dad. I remember the morning of 9/11, or that day. We didn't go to school, or we did, but we came back early, and obviously both Mom. I didn't really understand what was going on yet, but you could just tell there was something in him stirring, and he wanted to do something, and he wasn't sure what that was right in the moment, but he figured it out pretty quickly, and he was so concerned and so needing to help the military and what they were about to do, and ever since he's just been so involved. Everybody knows and can see like what happened after that, and that's when he started traveling and going abroad, USO, and all of that stuff. And so right away it was like a huge shift.
Yeah. And how did
Yeah.
it affect you?
Gosh. No one's asked me that before. We missed him.
Yeah.
We missed him, but just like Sophie says, like he was teaching us how important this was, and how blessed we are to live in a country that has this wonderful military that will protect us, and he never let you forget it, and he would talk about it, and so I think that's mainly how it affected me, because I went to school with in Los Angeles, and not very many people have military connections.
Yeah.
So I actually felt kind of abnormal, because we were so patriotic and had military in our family and talked about it. And so I think that's mainly how it affected me, was to be grateful for these families and these veterans. And we missed him, but we also knew, so do all these other families. They miss their dad or their mom or their, brother. And so we always kind of kept that in mind.
Yeah. And Mom, like, circling back to what I was trying to say earlier. Mom was an amazing supporter and advocate of our father. Like, she never, like, made us feel like, you know, he was off and doing things and gone and leaving her alone with all these kids. Like, she always made a point to make sure that we knew that what he was doing was so important, and that we were all doing this with him. That we need to stand by him and support him. All these families and children and their fathers and mothers are leaving for, you know, months and years at a time, and we're so blessed that, you know, Dad can come back to us.
Yeah.
But there was always that emphasis on, like, this is our sacrifice, and we can do this. We can do this for our country. This is what we're contributing, because all of these people are putting their lives on the line, and what your dad is doing is helping so many people feel loved and supported and, you know, cared for. And so through that, we felt like we were doing that too. So that was always.
And then the older we got, sorry to interrupt you, but the older we got, we were becoming more involved in a way.
Yes.
Because when I went off to college, I was in D.C. and Dad was coming there a lot for different events and things like that. So I got to experience those things with him. And when we could, we would travel to bases with him and see shows. And so, you know, that also reminded us how important it was and how much of a change he was making and how it was growing.
It just kind of hits you in the face. You're just like, oh, okay. Like, I get so emotional, like, whenever I am around it. Because it just, like, it's a reminder, okay, this is truly, like, a mission of love. And to see firsthand, like, how many, the impact that it's made.
Yeah.
And
As he saw that, and exactly as you state, and so perfectly said, that he began to really see the need, you know, and as he was, especially his early days on going on tours and with the USO, and then eventually he created the Lieutenant Dan Band. What did you guys think about all that?
At first it was like, wait, what? Well, he always kind of, you know, he was always playing music.
He was.
Okay.
He was
did,
slapping the bass.
Yeah. So it was natural. Like, we were like, oh, that's fun, you know. I don't really remember what my feeling was when he, like, started the band and everything. But he would do stuff locally in the beginning, and we would go, and I'd take my friends, and it was fun, and you know.
They'd be like, your dad's actually really good.
Yeah.
It's actually a good band.
Yeah, oh, it's actually, like, really good. Wow. It's like a big band. And people still say that. If they haven't seen them, you know, they're surprised that he's even said that like, this actor has a band, and they're like, oh, you know, interesting. But then you hear them, and they're really good, and it is a fun show. And so...
it's so fun.
Yeah.
I just thoroughly enjoy it every time I go.
Yeah.
And, you know, they could be doing the same show, and it's just a fun show. And people think, like, oh, your dad has a band? Like,
Right.
what do they do?
Right.
Lieutenant Dan Band?
Right.
And we're like, yeah, it's so fun. Like, you just have to experience it. And to feel, like, the love and support in the room of the people, like, that are there is just, like, makes it so special.
Yeah. And every daughter or, you know, family member loves to see their other family member happy.
Yes.
And he loves to perform.
Yeah, he loves
to play his bass and
lights up.
yeah, and he gets this whole extra energy when he plays, and it's always been that way. It's never been like I got to do another concert.
Right.
You know, he might be tired, but like it re-energizes
Sometimes we're like,
him.
you gotta pull back.
We're like, are you sure you should do this one?
Another one comes out.
Yes. But we're reminded that he loves it so much. So, you know, you just want to see that person happy, and so we always saw that.
The mission's in his heart.
Yeah.
There's no denying it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it truly is. It's coming from just a deep, it's a calling for sure.
Mm-hmm. He calls himself a rock star, which I always debate him on that.
He's living out his rock star dreams also.
I'm like,
Okay.
But,
Speaking of his calling, so he's always got that always do a little more, and he was supporting so many organizations and going on tours and performing with Lieutenant Dan Band and just doing everything he could. And then he decided to create his own foundation. Was that a family decision?
Mm-mm.
It just kind of spiraled
it just
into
happened.
that,
Yeah.
I was one of the first receptionists of the Gary Sinise Foundation. I remember I needed a job, and so he, put me to work in his little office. He had a little office at his studio when he was doing CSI New York.
Mm-hmm. And he got the office right across from the studio.
Yeah,
from
that
CSI.
was right across from the studio.
So I remember, that's when things really started kind of evolving quickly.
Yeah, and just, a lot of just, volunteer work at first, and then you came on.
The true veteran here.
Yes. Yeah, you have really helped our father so much and our family.
Mm-hmm.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, you have been an amazing asset.
I remember
to all
the
of
first
us.
time I met you.
Do you?
I do. Can I tell this
I was a
story?
tornado. running around your father.
You were a little feisty one in a cute, fluffy dress at the dinner.
Oh,
the
okay,
lunch dinner.
Yeah.
Right?
Our fundraising dinner, our annual one.
And you had lots of energy, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. You're on it, and you've always been like that.
I'm always like,
since.
okay, look right here. Smile, look right here.
Yep, it was awesome.
No, you're amazing. You bring an amazing energy.
You do.
Oh, my goodness.
You're so focused and helpful, and you get it done.
You do.
He always says, I know that Cristin's going to get it done.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love you both.
We love you.
Okay, so why is this mission important to you?
Gosh, I feel...
Can I go first?
Yeah.
My older sister's always going first. I'm sorry. I think it's just something that we now, as moms, we have to pass this on. Yeah. And it is being passed on to the younger generation through, the education and outreach program, all the things. And, it's so cool to have this story. And my daughter, she's too little to really explain. She sees Dad on a book and she's like, huh? Papa? She's too little. But yours are starting to get a little bit older, so they're starting to understand. So I think that's the really cool part, is to be able to pass down to your little ones, how important it is to support our military. And kind of in the temperature right now in our country, they really need this support, and they really need this backing because we don't, like Dad always says, we don't ever want it to happen again like it did for our Vietnam veterans, that like they aren't being supported or thanked, or so to be a part of this new kind of modern push for that is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, definitely what Ella said. And to take care of those who have sacrificed so much for us. Like, we feel so blessed. You know, we have all of our limbs, and, you know, we get to live a fairly normal life. Like, and it's very easy to not think about those things and, you know, to complain about the everyday things that, you know, everybody goes through. But it's so important to have the perspective of, you know, not everybody is able to live like this, and through such sacrifice too, volunteering your time, your life, your family, for, you know, your brothers and sisters, you know, beside you, and for our country, and for our safety and protection. It's so important to keep that in the forefront of your mind, and I feel very blessed that we have been a part of this, that we can see firsthand the impact that it's making, you know, the specially adapted smart homes that make things just a little bit easier for them is just huge. And our dad always talked to us if we would complain like normal children. He would always stress, like, to get out of yourself, go help somebody else, go serve, go volunteer. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
I feel like I'm rambling.
No, it does.
I was going to say the same too, how Dad always said that. He was like, you know, if you're feeling a little down, or, you know, go and make somebody else feel happy, or do something for somebody else. But then also, you know, he would also tap into, like, find your passion, find what you really care about. And this was his thing. He truly cares about it. He's not doing it for the fame or the money. And so it's important to me that we pass that on too, that it's truly his heart. And, you know, it's important that, you know, we're a part of it, and we can pass that along.
Yeah.
Do
you have any favorite programs?
A favorite? Well, probably, I tapped on it before, the education and outreach, because I think bringing the high schools in and them going on Soaring Valor is super cool.
Yeah, that is a really good
one. And I always thought too, because I'm not currently teaching, but I am a teacher. So seeing their faces light up when they hear these stories or get to go on a trip, and
yeah, because so many kids, they either don't have a connection to the military or aren't learning it. But I think that's a great one. I mean, they're all great. There's so many.
Yeah, you can't really pinpoint one over the other, because they all tap into obviously different needs.
Yeah.
And like you could go on about Rise for days because of the impact that's making. And
I love Snowball.
Snowball.
And last year I got to do it for the first time. We've heard so much about it, and we see the videos, and you just like can't help but just cry
every time.
And it was just the most amazing thing to witness and to be a part of, and to be able to help just kids and families who have lost a loved one, just to see them all come together under one roof and have such a similar experience, and they can all share in that together, and to heal, and to play. They go to Disney World, and they get to go to the most amazing magical place in the world. Such a fun, awesome, wonderful thing that they're doing for the kids, because I mean, I can't imagine just as a mom, you know, not having my husband. Oh, here I go. And raising kids and how challenging that would be. Just seeing, you know, all these families and what they've had to go through and will go through their whole entire life. But if we can give them that one, you know, place that they could fall on and know that they are loved and that they're seen and that we're here for them. I think that is so special, and for the kids to see that, see that, like, okay, we love your dad or your mom, and what they did for our country, what they did for us is like amazing, and you have a hero, and to let them know that.
And people truly build a family there, right? They build.
Exactly.
I haven't gone yet, but hopefully I'll go soon. But my in-laws volunteer, you know them.
Yes.
And they just have a blast.
They do.
They are full on, you know, hanging out with these kids and families all day.
Oh, yeah. Dancing.
Dancing, doing the conga line.
Chicken dance.
The chicken dance is big in that family. Yes. You mentioned that. Yes,
I got video footage.
Do you?
No, I did.
I have to see that.
Yeah.
I have to see
so
that.
Good.
That's a big one in that family. But yeah, it's the volunteers.
Yeah.
I mean, their lives are changed after this experience because of what Sophie just explained, you know, seeing these families and how, you know, their lives are changed and they build community there.
God made us for community. We need each other. We need to lean on each other. And we need to when someone else is struggling, we need to let them know we're here and we're supporting each other. And that's what that's all about, is just, you know, we're here and we're going to have fun and we're going to cry and we're going to make friends and lasting friendships. And we want you to know that we're here and we're supporting you no matter what you're going through. So
I love it.
yeah,
The mission is at the heart of you too. And sometimes your dad, he asks you to go out and represent the foundation. How do you guys like that?
I like it. It's fun. Yes, I did a few public speaking things, which I was super nervous about when I did those. But it's fun. I mean, it's fun to represent your dad, and it's fun to kind of like be in his shoes for a minute, whether it's like big or small. But I think that's what's kind of happening now with us. We're kind of fighting our footing in, you know, how we can be more involved or ways that we can, you know, be at events or local things. And, you know, because we want to show that it is family is here for Dad while he's doing this too.
Yeah.
And he's not alone in it. It's not just him. And so, it's fun to be a part and to get out of your mom life for just a second. But
it's definitely like starting to change as we're getting older. We're seeing kind of a shift of, okay, like, where's our place in this? It definitely, like, when we were younger growing up, it was like people would come up to us and be like, can we take a picture with you or take your picture? And we were like, why? We're not doing anything. Like, this is our dad. Like, this isn't, you know, there was kind of that disconnect of, like, we were there supporting, but we were like, why do you want our picture? But we do see, like, as we're, you know, getting older, that this has been a family mission. We just didn't really realize it. And I think now, like, you know, he's not getting any younger, folks.
He acts like a spring chicken, but he's not.
He's got a lot of energy.
But no, we do, Like, we want to help, and we want to be there to support everything that he has worked so hard to do.
Yeah.
And it is fun. It is fun to. I've only done it a couple of times, like, without Dad, but it is cool to kind of, like, stand in his shoes a little bit and see, like, okay, wow, look what he's done. Look at, the beauty that has come out of all, the sacrifice and hard work and him being gone.
And it's not stopping anytime soon.
No.
It's just going to keep rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Which is super cool.
And to see, like, our husbands involved and just how much it's grown, like, is amazing. Like, really incredible to watch.
Well, from the foundation side of things, I have seen that Gary has had, and I said this earlier, but has had 2 pillars of strength in his corner, and it's been you two. And you have been sacrificing, and you have been a part of this mission from the very beginning, before it was even the Gary Sinise Foundation. He could not do what he does if it wasn't for the 2 of you, and all that you provide, and the support, and the just the feeling of love at home that he's able to keep going and do this.
Well, thank you.
Cristin.
It's been known.
That means a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
So, well, this podcast is in honor and memory of your brother Mac. And here we go. I know. And in the podcast with the interview with your father, we talked a lot about his mission and his growth at the Gary Sinise Foundation. But can you share with me about him as a brother?
Yes, happy to. I read this question last night and I just started crying because I think a lot of people right now are hearing Mac's story, cancer story, and his battle, and what he went through, and his involvement with the foundation. So I appreciated this question because Mac, we haven't really gotten the chance to talk about who was Mac.
Yeah.
But he was a very shy, genuine, quiet dude, funny.
Did some really good impersonations.
Yes,
he did.
So many good impersonations, but
Of Dad.
yeah,
Yes.
of Dad, lots of good ones. But yeah, he was like, he truly loved. We were so close. We were his sisters, and that's what I always remember him. Like, I love my sisters. I'm so close with my sisters, and he was just so genuine and loving, and gentle. And I think people hear that in his music too. Like, the sound of it is just so pure. I have stories of, like, when we would drive to school in the morning and Sophie and I wanted to stop for breakfast and
Throw me under the bus.
get bagels on the way to school. We're like, Mac, come on, I'm hungry. We need to get to school. She's like, guys, we're going to be late. We can't get bagels right now. And he was so...
That sounds like...
Yes. He always wanted to do the right thing.
I want to go... I'm going to miss first period.
Just one day. We'll be like 10 minutes late. It's fine.
Yeah.
We were those, he was always keeping us on track.
He was, yeah.
And, making sure we were making the right decisions.
Yeah.
And he, I had trouble with friends in high school, and he... let me sit at lunch with him and his friends, and I ended up getting close with them and hanging out with them, and he was just so, he wasn't like a typical bigger brother. He was your younger brother, but he was my bigger brother, and he wasn't one to go and, like, fight the other guy because, but he was just, like, genuinely there for you, and you know.
He was always like, he was very thoughtful and wanted to always like, you know, see the other side. And,
Yes.
well, okay.
Questioned
everything.
just
He was the why kid.
Yeah.
He was always, but why? But why?
Yeah.
You'd drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Like asking why all the time.
Why did
Be
you
like,
do that?
Mac.
Yeah. Yeah.
I already told you.
And then we later, you know, found out when he, you know, found his faith and came to the true passions in his life, and, you know, he was always asking why, because he wanted to find the truth and he wanted to do good. And so that will forever, you know, remain in me, because he was so persistent and doing the right thing and helping others and, you know, joining the family. He wanted family around and wanted the family to be together. And, you know, that was so important and so impactful for me. And he made such a wonderful speech. I'll be quiet after this, but he made such a wonderful speech at my rehearsal dinner, and I will never forget it. It was like his time. He had been working at the foundation for a little bit. He was practicing public speaking. I think he was taking some sort of class or something, but he was always the quiet, shy guy. And then he was like, "Can I make a speech at your rehearsal dinner at your wedding?" And I was like, "Really? Are you sure?" And he did, and he just like blew everyone away with his words and his confidence and his heart, and how much he cared about like my happiness and my marriage. And he said his favorite quote, or my favorite quote that he mentioned, St. Thomas Aquinas, to love is to will the good of the other. And I will never forget that. And that's truly what I think it like all folds together about this foundation. And, you know, if we're truly going to love one another and care for each other, like, you have to will the good of the other person. So that's who Mac was. He was just so caring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm everything she said.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, like Ella said, he came to, you know, a deep, deep conversion in his last, you know, years of life in this battle with cancer. It totally, like, transformed him in a beautiful way. I mean, that, like, it was kind of amazing. It was a crazy journey of this cancer, but to see Mac kind of transform into this, like, it was almost like he came out of himself, and a peace just washed over him, and he started, you know, really getting involved in the church and wanting to be, you know, really involved at the foundation. And passion started to, like, he started to come into his own, because I know he always struggled, like, you know, well, Dad has this passion, like, what's my passion? Like, he always wanted to find, like, that drive that Dad has had our whole life. But I think Mac, like, really towards the end of his life, just like found it. This cancer journey really, like, just drew it out of him. And he's, like, changed our lives, our whole family's lives. And through, you know, the witness of his music now, it's just like, oh man, like, that was a beautiful miracle, like thing that you had inside of you. And it just, like, it all just came, like, spilling out.
Yeah, he was very talented.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And very like, a lot of
never-
the music, like, he didn't even show us.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, all of this stuff he just kind of kept
He started showing it kind of a little bit during while he was really sick, and he would want to see this video of me in college, and he's like orchestrating, and I'm like, whoa! It's just like this hidden huge talent that we knew he was talented, but he didn't showcase it all the time. And his friends talked about too that he would like give them auditions instead of going on the auditions himself, because he wanted to give them opportunities, and Dad was like, Mac, you need to go for this. You need to go for these things, But and then while he was sick, and now it's all coming out. Which is hard, because we want to experience this with him. That's how I feel, but we are experiencing it with him. Like you feel him there when his music is playing, and you feel him here when you're talking about him, and it's just super cool to see his true talent and his passion that he did find. It's all present.
Yeah, he was super pumped about this podcast.
Yes, he was.
He was very excited.
Yeah.
We were living at the house, our parents' house, when he was there, and he was like getting all his equipment and like thinking about like, okay, who can I interview? And I was like, Mac, can I be on the show? He wasn't too sure about that.
I don't know.
Like, what are you going to talk about?
He would scratch his head and be like, no.
And he doesn't want to hurt your feelings. But he's actually thinking about it.
Yes.
He's like trying to
thinking about what to say. Yes, exactly. Yeah, he was so excited about this, and for it to see it happening is super special.
Yeah, it's wild. I walked in today, and it's the first time I saw it, and I was just like, can't help but like feel so many emotions, because it's just like, wow, Mac, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it, man.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's really cool that, we get to be here and be a small part of it.
Well, if there's one thing that everybody can tell from your family, is that you're so tight-knit, in the way you speak about Mac and your mom and your dad. It's just so loving. Where does that come from?
I mean,
Mom. No, Dad too.
I mean, both of them. Mom, when you meet Mom, I'm sure you can attest, hopefully, but she is like just a walking, vibrant spirit of just kindness and love. And I always say she like makes best friends with everybody, because she wants to, just give love to anybody that she meets. And she does that for Dad in all her support for him. And I think we see that. We see them support each other. We see them, in the things that they've gone through over the years, how they've come together. Hasn't always been easy. Of course, it's not always like rainbows and sunshine. But we're close because we, family is very important. And, in the end, family will always be the ones that's there for you, supporting you. And she always made sure that we knew that, and Dad too. And we're forever grateful for that.
Yeah, we've gotten to witness, like, it hasn't always been, we've had a lot of challenges throughout different times in our life. This past one with the cancer journey, and Mom had cancer, and she's gone through a lot of health issues herself. So it has been a lot of ups and downs, but our faith, number one, and our mom blessed us with that by going back to the church and really surrounding us and grounding us in our faith, and Dad, and that really brought us together, just to witness them in their own healing journey and to witness them stay together through it all and through the ups and downs and never give up.
Just like any family, obviously, you don't agree on everything, you know, but we always try our best to communicate and you know, stick together despite some of the things over the years. And Mac was huge with that, you know, if we weren't getting along because, you know, someone stole the other person's shirt, or I don't know, you know.
Are you holding on to that?
We always let each other know when, like, she's wearing my shirt or whichever. But yeah, that Mac too was huge with that. He like didn't want anybody fighting. And, you know. Same with
always
Mom.
Communicate.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, came from, you know, what he shared in his book, like going from self to service. And love. I mean, it's all about love. Yeah, and what Ella said, and Thomas Aquinas.
Yes, St. Thomas Aquinas. He always said it in a very specific way, St. Thomas Aquinas.
He would be very proud.
Yes. To love is to will the good of the other. And, you know, to remember that in family or in bigger things.
All right, so you're technically California girls.
Sorry, Nashville.
We are a part of the wave.
But so why Nashville?
I never thought that we would end up in Tennessee.
Never.
I mean, Bobby and I, you know, we thought we'd be in California forever.
Forever, yeah.
But no, it just started to become a conversation, and you know, Dad had asked me, you know, would you guys ever, you know, contemplate moving? And then it just kind of planted a seed. And we just started thinking about it more and more. And when I get something in my mind,
She starts Zillowing.
Oh, yes. His phone would go ding, ding, ding with other house options.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't seem to let it go. But no, it just started to be, we just thought about it and what we want for our kids, how we want them to grow up. It's beautiful. Everybody's so nice and so welcoming and friendly and hospitable, and just everything about it just seemed like it was the right move for us. And we love it. Yeah.
And you're all together.
And we're all together. Yep. That was like a big thing because I hounded her for years. Like, you need to move back.
You're coming back? No, I'm coming back for a little while.
Little did I know.
No.
Little did I know that we would be the ones moving.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's been an amazing blessing. Yeah. And thank God, Mac and our parents were able to, you know, get here. And we all got to spend, you know, all the holidays together, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and 93-year-old grandma's with us.
Yes.
Grandma Millie's
here.
Love it.
You know, our cousins are here.
Yeah.
Our aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
So it's
our cousin is a, you know, Metro police officer here. So we're totally embracing it. We love it.
Well, the role that I think Gary loves the most is Papa.
I agree. I think so.
Yeah. What is Papa Gary like?
Papa.
Yeah,
he is a good Papa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of ice cream.
Yes. Lots of ice cream and pancakes.
Skinny
Really?
pancakes is our family thing.
Yes. Grandma and Grandpa used to make skinny pancakes. I think it was an accident at first, and then they ended up being really good.
It's one of those things that you don't really like unless you grew up with it. Does Cam like them?
No.
Oh, Bobby doesn't.
No,
Bobby's
Bobby
not a fan.
doesn't like them more. Cam doesn't mind them. Cam will eat them. He's like, yeah, they're okay. Yeah, it's a pancake. It's just really skinny.
It's kind of like
It's not
nostalgic.
fluffy.
It's like it's kind of like a crepe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, he's become very good at making them,
Yeah.
and every time they're there, he makes skinny pancakes. They go to Sonic's a lot. It's always something revolved around sugar.
Yes. Yes.
But no,
They love to watch
a great
movies
papa.
together, you know, Disney movies. When we went on vacation recently, we all had like a Frozen Let It Go party, and the smile on Dad's face is just like massive. He loves it. And yeah, I mean, he's a silly guy, Dad. He, you know, so it brings out the silliness in him, which is fun.
Playful.
Very playful.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He loves his grandkids.
Just wants to be like hugging them all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
If they don't want to give him a hug, he's like, what's wrong?
She won't
He
hug
likes
me
to be their
today.
favorite.
Is she okay? She's not hugging me today.
I remember one time I was calling him and he was speaking really low, and he was not allowed to take him to a certain store, and I think he would kind of secretly take the children to the store.
Do you remember what store?
Target?
Yeah.
He loves Target.
He'd be like, going again with that.
I know. But
Where do I
bring-
take them? Not the park. I'll take them to
Yeah.
Target.
I'll take him. Yeah, anywhere where there's sugar.
Yes, exactly.
And then he's like, they
Yeah.
wanted all these things, and I told him no. But I'm like, well, you take them to the toy aisle, and
And they want all the
they're
things.
gonna
Yeah.
want all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And he can't say no to
I
them.
know
No.
they'll come home sometimes and ask for ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, how many times did you have ice cream today? Well, Papa took us twice to the ice cream store. I'm
Why?
like, yes, he loves
But
spoiling
that's what
them.
grandparents do, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
And then they give them back.
Yep.
Yep.
To you.
To me.
Yes.
To her. Yes.
I love it.
He loves being a papa.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I think
yes.
that's also why he loves Snowball, and he loves to be there
Mm-hmm.
because he just loves being with the kids. He loves to see their smiles
Yeah.
and the joy and them dancing, enjoying the concert
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. He knows how much it means to them.
yes.
Yeah. So with the move has come exponential growth of our mission, and especially so also in the Nashville area. And we recently had a Walls of Honor ceremony for Army Sergeant Joshua Hargis,
Yes.
who was severely wounded from his deployment to Afghanistan. So he's a double amputee. And the thing that I noticed is that your entire families were there. Everybody was there. The kids, everybody. Why was it important for you?
Truthfully, that was my first Walls of Honor, and so it was super cool to be a part of that, and to get to witness like firsthand. Okay, this is what they're all doing. This is what they all talk about all the time. It just hasn't. It was right here in near Nashville area, so it was super close for us. But yeah, no, just like circling back to what we were saying before, it's super important that we want our kids to see, you know, what their dad is doing, what Papa's doing. We want them to see we're here to help these people and support them, and look how cool that, you know, we get to be a part of this for them, and they got to write their...
Yeah, that was so cute. Writing
I
little
know,
messages
they were
and
writing
coloring
little
on the wall.
messages,
Yep.
and this is kind of like us starting to get them, you know,
Yeah.
like we were when we were kids, to start to see, like, you know, the impact and
But
Papa's doing.
even more importantly, we want these families to know that like we're supportive of them too.
Oh, exactly.
And our
Yes.
families want to be
100%.
there because we want to support you. We want to know your story. And we want to get to know your family and, you know, your kids. And they're just young families just like ours, you know, and they're all going the same types of, you know, that like juggling all these kids. And, you know, so it's, I want to make connections with these families too. And so when I get to go to these events, especially if it's easy because it's local, that's important to me too, to know, for them to meet me and to know me as a person and, you know, my care for them and how thankful I am for what they've done. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like your dad.
yes.
Yeah, we're standing behind them.
Yes.
And our hearts are right there as well.
So, what are your hopes for the foundation?
Oh.
It's a loaded question. We just want it to keep making an impact on the way that it, even more than it is now. I mean, you hear these stories of how it's helped these veterans' lives and their families, and the love that they feel coming from this foundation. So why not keep that going, and why not make it bigger, and why not, you know, reach more families and keep these programs running so that we're able to continue what you all are doing and working hard to do every day.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful atmosphere in here, and everybody truly cares about what they're doing. And it's obvious when you walk through these doors, just to continue what, you know, our dad has worked so hard to accomplish. And, you know, our mom too, like she is one with our father. So like what they've done together and what, you know, their mission has been as a married couple, and with my mom allowing, you know, our dad to go and set the groundwork for where it's become is truly amazing. And like we need to keep that going, to let our servicemen and women know that we're here, that we're supporting them, that we love them, and what can we do to help.
Yeah, just like the heart of your dad. You guys are very much like him.
Thank you.
Well, Sophie and Ella, thank you so much for joining me on the Gary Sinise Foundation podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
This has been fun.
It was supposed to be Mac here interviewing you, so I hope that you felt his presence.
We did.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. Thank you for doing
Thank you.
it in his honor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, like we do with every show,
Yes.
we're going to let Mac close out the show.
Okay.
Okay.
You've been listening to GSF Podcast, the official podcast of the Gary Sinise Foundation. If you'd like to find out more about what the foundation is up to, or if you'd like to make a donation, please visit GarySiniseFoundation.org. Make sure to tune in next time for more interviews, and thanks for joining us.